So what was the last topic in previous discussion? क्या था?
Live as if you will die tomorrow. Learn as if you will.
So you got some idea, right, to handle this topic? Huh? Assignment was given. Okay, please submit your assignment. I will manage time. I will see. ठीक है. So let us today at least complete 4 topics. 4 to 5 topics, right? You all are knowledge actually, right? I have to give you line of thought, right? There is enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. Please brainstorm for 5 minutes. There is enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. Topic also may be this year. Earth can satisfy human needs, but not the greed. Not the greeds actually, plural. Greeds. Topic may be like this also. ठीक है ना? Earth can satisfy humans needs but not the greeds. ठीक है? Points will be very much similar. So please think over 5 minutes. 5 minutes के लिए. Think something. Done.
Can we start with this when India used to be known as Golden World?
Hmm?
India used to be known as Golden World when it was
Like a statement is generalist actually, right?
So we can start with any recent tragedy. So like Amarnath's tragedy, and so like telling ki how it claimed the life of so many people, and the analysis report told over exploitation to be the reason. Then so we can start ki that this is an apt example of how humans greeds are claiming lives and creating havoc. Then so we can proceed on.
You can start with any reference, of recent maybe environmental, like calamity, right? Flooding, Uttarakhand flood, right? Or drought, or any such disaster you can start because the statement, this ingenious statement, given by Mahatma Gandhi relates to judicious utilization of resources available to human beings, isn't it, right, provided by Mother Earth, right, judicious, but certainly this is not limited only to this philosophy, this idea is not limited only to environment, isn't it, right? So yes, to start with, you start with environment, right, but on sectoral scale, like on temporal scale, refer to such like overutilization or some greed ka instances on time scale,
Colonial references.
like yes, industrial revolution, right, colonization, isn't it, that was a result of greed. Colonization exploited the masses, the colonial rulers exploited the masses, right, in the colonies because of their greed. Otherwise they would have been judicious also, isn't it, they would have preferred for judicious utilization of resources too, isn't it, right? So on time,
Can we also say that the greed for colonies led
Huh.
to the World War I?
yes, greed for colonies led to World War I. Yes, certainly on time scale, you give example of, you can give example, जैसे we have history optional, कोई है history optional का, like Harappan civilization, right?
One reason for the decline was the overexploitation of the resources.
Over exploitation of the resources, so that reference also you can give, isn't it, like yes, like in medieval period also, like greed for territories, isn't it, war, right, battles, right, lack of stability, growth and development in society. During British period too, you can relate this statement with the exploitative policies of the Britishers, isn't it, like Jamindari was exploitative policy, right, their greed to extract the maximum 10/11 of the taxes, right, jitna like crop tha uska 10/11 was taken as tax, isn't it, so that is reference of greed, right? So such examples you will give, but you will not limit this essay to the scale of environment only, resource utilization only, isn't it, right?
Sir, there are many examples of
एक और स्टेटमेंट इंट्रोडक्शन में लिखेंगे कि ग्रीड इज लाइक अ कॉम्प्लेक्स इमोशन, ठीक है ना, ग्रीड इज कॉम्प्लेक्स इमोशन एंड at times misunderstood also. Greed also can motivate the people to be more innovative and creative, right? But if this emotion right, used judiciously, then this serves the purpose of society, right? And if uncontrolled exploitation, isn't it, overutilization and exploitation of, right, the resources, right, and causes problems, multiple problems in society, ठीक है, like on sectoral scale, yes, hello, on sectoral scale what all points you will think, आप लेट आए हैं, हमने brainstorming का टाइम दिया था 5 minutes.
We can think of in society perspective, political perspective. and
So what?
In society,
Yes, good to think, but what exactly? Because you will have to specify. In main body, you know.
There are many examples to read, but how can we address the first part? There is enough for everyone's need. We need to address that part also. Anyone.
Yes, certainly there is enough for everyone's need, right?
The examples are not connected with this, so there are many examples of greed, like in Mahabharata, Kaurava greed for empire, but it is not connected with there is enough for everyone's need.
There is enough for everyone's need. In the opening paragraphs, you will make a statement, right? That there are enough resources, you know, if utilized judiciously, fulfills the needs of everyone in the society, right? We have sky, we have, you know, moon, we have warmth of the sun, we have water, we have land to crop, isn't it? Right, for food. We have enough, you know, we have resources, right, for production, technology, mechanization, there is enough, isn't it? But if this used judiciously, right, this, you know, like helps to humanity, this leads to growth and development, isn't it? Humanity survived in the beginning with judicious use of resources, isn't it? Today humanity, like nature is challenging humans, isn't it, through drought, floods, etc. These are because of, you know, unjudicious use of the resources, right? आप सेट करेंगे ना, थीसिस सेट करेंगे in introduction, opening paragraph, second opening paragraph में, isn't it? And then कि there is enough for, you have to justify कि there is enough for everyone's need but not for the greed. जैसे इन्होंने कहा society में, तो yes, in society there are enough resources, you know, for fulfilling the needs of both men and women, right? But this is patriarchal greed, right, which results into inequality, discrimination, right, exploitation of women in the family, in the society. Getting a point? ऐसा नहीं, ऐसा है कि नहीं है, right? कि family, you know, property hold by men, right? Deposits by men, women not given, you know, right to inherit property, isn't it? Why this situation? Why there is such situation in our society, isn't it? कि women, you know, are still treated unequally, discriminated, not only in family sphere but also in public sphere, right? Differential wages for women. Getting a point? Unequal wages for women. Getting a point, right? So somewhere, you know, patriarchal greed, right, is cause of such situation, such problems. Getting a point? केवल इन्वायरमेंट में लिमिट नहीं करेंगे इसको, बिकॉज दिस इज ऐसे, यू नो, आपके थॉट को एक्सपैंड करना है, इजंट इट, राइट? पॉइंट्स लाइक डायमेंशंस क्रॉप करने हैं, तो उसमें विल थिंक सोसाइटी एट सोसाइटल लेवल, राइट? यस, अभी सोसाइटी में देयर आर मेनी पॉइंट्स. फर्स्ट थिंग सोसाइटी, फिर मैं अपने आप शिफ्ट करूंगा. यस,
and they gather the food as they want. जितना उनको चाहिए था उतना ही लेते थे. उनका कोई स्टोरेज का मैटर नहीं था.
यस, सब्सिस्टेंस इकोनॉमी, राइट?
अभी उसका अभी रिलेवेंस में ये भी कर सकते हैं कि इकोनॉमी में जैसे निर्मला सीतारमण मैम ने जैसे बोला था कि हम उसको कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं कि हम जो ज़्यादा रिच लोग हैं उनको एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दे के ना वैसा डिवाइड करके, वैसा जिन्होंने ग्रीडी ज़्यादा करके थोड़ा सा करेक्ट कर सकते हैं सोसाइटी.
ना, दिस इज निर्मला सीतारमण जी का पर्सपेक्टिव नहीं. टैक्स द रिच एंड गिव टू द पुअर, ये तो कम्युनिस्ट का आइडियोलॉजी है बेसिकली. वो आइडियोलॉजी इतना पावरफुल है कि नॉन कम्युनिस्ट को भी वो आइडियोलॉजी फॉलो करना पड़ रहा है. लेफ्टिस्ट आइडियोलॉजी इज बीइंग फॉलोड बाय राइट विंग ऑल्सो, बिकॉज इन वेलफेयर इकोनॉमी, इन वेलफेयर सोसाइटी एंड वेलफेयर डेमोक्रेसी, दैट इज द वे आउट. आप कितना भी राम राम जप लीजिए, राधे राधे कर लीजिए, अल्लाह अकबर कर लीजिए, फाइनली वेलफेयर ऑफ द पुअर्स, द पीपल, द वोटर्स, वही आना होता है, राइट? तो निर्मला सीतारमण जी का जो आइडियोलॉजी का जो वो है ना, जो शिफ्ट है, चेंज है, वो बेसिकली ठीक है. उसको लास्ट में हाईलाइट कर सकते हैं. गेटिंग अ पॉइंट? सजेस्टिव मेजर्स में लिख सकते हैं ऐसा, ठीक है? लाइक द पॉइंट यू रेफर्ड कि टुडे, like this is the budgetary, you know, in budgetary speech mentioned, like minister mentioned this statement, right? This relates to the judicious utilization, isn't it, and the distribution of resources, isn't it, right? ठीक है ठीक है.
Sir, there are examples. Demand for reservation.
look थोड़ा सिंपल सोचिए, राइट? जैसे सोशल लेवल पे, पहले इन्होंने कहा सोशल लेवल, तो सोशल लेवल पे बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स हैं, ठीक है ना? आपके पास ज़्यादा चॉइस होना चाहिए, कुछ मिस भी हो जाए एग्जाम के अंदर तब भी आप, राइट? और क्या हो सकता है सोशल लेवल पे?
The pre-existing Varna system was much more equitable, but later on it transformed to
कास्ट inequality.
The caste and Varna system,
हाँ,
it
हाँ.
was based on division of labor basically. So it was more equitable system, but later on, due to the expansion of agriculture and more economic prosperity of the people, it transferred into more inequitable system, and the concept of purity and pollution got into it,
Yes.
which
Yes,
added
yes.
complexities to the understanding of the masses
Mm-hmm.
about the Varna system itself. So it infused greed about the sharing of the economic prosperity,
Mm-hmm.
and hence the discrimination which
Discrimination which is reflected in caste system, that also like look, as per you know the Rig Vedic texts, the Varna structure was open structure, isn't it? Mobility was possible, isn't it? Social mobility was not restricted, not rigid, ठीक है? But in later years, you know, like rigidity emerged in the social structure because of greed. यहाँ word लेकर आएंगे, because of the greed of higher varnas to accumulate more wealth and property, isn't it? Right? The lower varna, I mean the varnas in lower hierarchy, they were excluded from the mainstream society because of greed of the higher varnas for accumulation of more property and wealth, accumulation of more wealth, right? Getting your point? And that rigidity, you know, like still prevails in society in form of inequalities, isn't it? And that is, you know, the basis or cause of, you know, discrimination, isn't it? Right? Like greed among some caste groups, greed in some caste groups to accumulate more wealth, isn't it? Right? More status, isn't it? Higher status, isn't it? Resulted into discrimination, isn't it? And manifested in many forms, untouchability and many such forms, isn't it? So that also.
We can also say
Social welfare में aspects में casteism, right? Casteism, caste-based discriminations, result of greed, right? And this has hampered, you know, social economic growth and development, social economic political growth and development of society. So it is well said, there is enough for everyone's need but not for greed, right? Society may, like, yes, you can say, you know, society, social sphere may, like communalism, right? Like communalism in its original usage is a term of positive connotation, isn't it? Commune, right? Community refers to group of people with we feeling belonging to a territory. We feeling, similar kind of consciousness, right? Similar kind of consciousness, positive connotation. Like people, like this was, you know, this we feeling, sense of belongingness that humanity survived through ages, right? People came together, right, to face the vagaries of nature, challenges posed by nature. Getting your point? Positive, like this we feeling was protective, right? In modern society, this has acquired a negative connotation, isn't it? Negative connotation, and this relates to, you know, communalism relates to the consciousness, right, for the own, you know, like values, for communities' values, norms, religions, isn't it?
सर आप कम्युनिज्म की बात करें, कम्युनलिज्म
Communalism.
कम्युनलिज्म तो रिलीजन बेस्ड हो जाता है ना ये।
रिलीजन बेस आज जो हुआ है ना, तो ये निगेटिव कोनोटेशन में हम लेते हैं कम्युनलिज्म को टुडे.
Communalism is one religious section and other religion, like two religions have different approaches towards life, but they might be incompatible as well, but they live harmoniously. This is
Communalism in modern usage, like this is communalism is set of ideas which propagates the people following, the group of people following some religion, isn't it, have commonality in their social, economic, political interests, right? I mean, religion coincides with every other aspect, right? And at times, at times this set of ideas mobilizes people, against other communities, the group of people against other communities, right? Look, in a single religion there may be differences, right? In a single, let's say Hindus, there are differences, inequalities. Muslims, there are inequalities. Shia Muslims, Sunni Muslims, there are different, like class of Muslims, isn't it? But all these are camouflaged, by religion, isn't it? By religion, right? Here I am telling that this term communalism, like the key word is commune, right? A commune refers to group of people living together with a strong sense of belongingness, a strong sense of belongingness, and this sense of belongingness protected people survived with togetherness, right? For the vagaries of nature, wild animals, like with this sense of togetherness, right? Why this term of positive connotation acquired negative connotation in modern society, right? Greed of communities to acquire more territories, greed of communities to acquire more power, greed of communities to acquire estates, isn't it? Getting your point? Establish their authorities, right? Like just say at the time of independence during national movement, this was the greed of communities, which resulted into partition. Otherwise, there would have been cooperation. Getting your point? Getting your point or not? So, like at social level, we see the community conflict, which today defined as communalism, result of communalism. This also, very much, result of the greed of the communities to acquire power, isn't it? Right? To
Linked it to terrorism then. So we can
yes, like radicalization, isn't it? Okay. Not with the religion के साथ नहीं, right? Communalism, right? One of the manifestation of communalism is terrorism also, right? और जैसे ethnic conflicts, conflict between tribes and non-tribes, right? Maoist and state, ये सब conflict क्यों है? यहाँ पे भी greed है ना, right? This was the greed of the multinational corporations which displaced the tribal. This was a greed of like a state to acquire more and more resources which displaced the tribals, isn't it? Tribals discontented and now the conflict. Getting your point, right? And displacement has many other, not only conflict, displacement has many other, like breaking down of culture, ethnic culture, right? Loss of language, dialect, isn't it? Right? Adoptional problems are there after displacement, right? The groups who are displaced, at times they fail to adopt to the new situation, new conditions, isn't it? So all these problems are related with, ठीक है ना? I mean, ethnic conflict, tribal, non-tribal का conflict also you can. और क्या कह सकते हैं social level पे? That also, that like patriarchal greed and all, उसमें कह सकते हैं, उसमें family के level पे, ठीक है ना?
Regionalism, son of soil theory, which proposes.
Son of soil theory also, right? That is also regionalism. जैसे social, if we like it other sphere, if we see other sphere, right? To justify the statement, इस statement को substantiate करने के लिए, तो what we see like different forms of regionalism, right? फॉर एग्जाम्पल इंटर स्टेट रीजनलिज्म, इन्होंने पॉइंट बोला रीजनलिज्म, ठीक है, रीजनलिज्म इज ऑल्सो लाइक, उसमें भी कई कैटेगरीज है ना, इंटर स्टेट रीजनलिज्म, फॉर एग्जाम्पल water disputes, yes, this is example of interstate regionalism. So water disputes, why in last 50 years the states Tamil Nadu and Karnataka could not reach to agreement, isn't it? Right, still conflict is there, right, and that conflict manifests in form of conflict between Tamilians and Kannadis, isn't it? Conflict at times, so that is also the greed. No state is ready to compromise. Getting your point, right? Both have orientation to acquire more water, isn't it? Right, use more water resources, right? So other interstate you can give example India में regionalism में, right, fact you can, जैसे conflict between Maharashtra and Karnataka, कितने साल हो गए? More than 50 years, like conflict over Belgaum region, isn't it, between Maharashtra and Karnataka, right? No state is ready to settle the matter, isn't it? Still expanding, right? And at times like conflict emerges, ठीक है ना? Okay, in fact we see like supra-state regionalism also, right? At times supra-state, like many states demanding for more privileges, जैसे and जैसे southern states and northern states last year.
Andhra Pradesh is
So clamor for
special status, special category.
स्पेशल कैटेगरी और ग्रीड से डायरेक्ट उसको रिलेट नहीं करेंगे, बट यस लुक मेनी अदर स्टेट्स आर आल्सो डिमांडिंग फॉर स्पेशल कैटेगरी, लाइक जैसे मैंने यहाँ कहा कि सुपरा स्टेट में भी लाइक लास्ट ईयर का केस आया था ना, लाइक southern states opposed allocation of resources on the basis of population, isn't it? Population, right? Northern state demanding on the basis of population, isn't it? ये और incentivize कर देगा TFR बढ़ने, like TFR will increase, अगर गवर्नमेंट ऐसा करती है तो ठीक है. अगर population will become the basis of resource, अगर बोनस मिलने लगे population के लिए, right, तो उसमें क्या होगा? People will be incentivized to more. खैर, that is not the point here. So we at times supra-state regionalism also like leading to conflict, isn't it? And there is somewhere some greed to acquire more resources, right? Okay, so you can, just many states demand for autonomization. There are constitutional framework, but demand for autonomization, isn't it? Right, in many regions demand for more autonomy, isn't it? And that leads to conflict, ठीक है ना? Conflict उससे होता है, right? Police action is there, conflict is there, isn't it? So that also you can, ठीक है. और क्या कहेंगे political sphere में? और political sphere?
Inequality power has resulted in malpractices.
Malpractices, yes. Horse trading, yes. Communal polarization, casteism in politics, caste politics, communal politics, right? Dynastic politics also, yes. Familism in politics, dynastic politics, right? This also you can refer. You can give references also, right? I say topics में like this was a greed of a dictator that resulted into World War II, right? Hitler, Mussolini, right? उनको greed था ना, acquire more territories, right? Not only First World War, Second World War का reference also you can give, right? Greed of the individuals, individual level पे जब greed हावी होता है, so that results into, फिर you can give example of Holocaust also. क्या था वो? greed ही था ना, racial superiority को establish करना, एक particular race को pure race समझना and establishing the racial orientation for establishing racial superiority. So that was also Holocaust and all example you can give, right? Then economic sphere में you can refer, like you can draw references from agriculture, greed, right? Overutilization of fertilizers, right? Overutilization of water, fertilizers, unsustainable technologies in agriculture for more production, leading to soil degradation, isn't it? Right? Decline in production and productivity. Okay. In industry, overutilization of resources, right? Uska many consequences are there, right? Pollution to displacement, right? Pollution to displacement of the ethnic groups, isn't it? Is also, a result of this greed of the multinational corporations, right, to acquire more and more territories, isn't it, for their for establishing the production, units, ठीक है ना? So you can refer this also, economy में, ठीक है? Like आपको नहीं लगता कि जो ये wages, right, wage को लेकर like minimum wages are not paid to the workers, right? The rules, right, the workplace, rules like timing of work, wages are flaunted, because of the greed of the employer, isn't it, to maximize their profit, minimize the cost of production, isn't it? Right. So these points also you will write. Though laws are there at the place, but those they are not followed, right? They are violated because of the greed, isn't it? Yes.
So greed leads to division of society into have and have not.
Mm-hmm.
Poverty anywhere hampers anyone and everywhere.
Yes, that also you can say, right? Last year का topic was, right? That also, ठीक है. और क्या कहेंगे? Politics administration में corruption किसका कारण? Corruption also, like manifestation of greed actually, right? Corruption, political corruption as well as economic. This fugitives like Nirav Modi, Malia, Chokse, isn't it? These greedy people, accumulated wealth and लिविंग लाइफ ऑफ लग्जरी ओवरसीज, ठीक है ना? अपन यहीं पे हर दिन स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं, ये लोग को देखिए, ग्रीडी लोग, राइट, एंजॉइंग देयर लाइफ, राइट? सो ग्रीड देयर ऑल्सो, इट्स ग्रीड ऑफ द पीपल टू accumulate more wealth, tax evasion and all you can relate with the greed of the people, isn't it? Right?
Leakages in benefits transfer.
Yes, leakages in benefit transfer also, ठीक है ना? जो भी PDS system and all, like still PDS is the center of corruption in district, ठीक है ना? Particularly the districts where the states where private investment is very low. जैसे आप सदर्न स्टेट्स को देखिए और नॉर्दर्न स्टेट्स को देखिए, तो सदर्न स्टेट्स में like there are private investment, isn't it? So district administration, right, has the private industries for extra income, right? But in states like UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, in these states, this leakage is very high because private investment is not there, dependence is there on government ka. So leakage is very high despite all initiatives taken by government like Aadhaar based verification and all, in सब के बावजूद भी leakage is very high, right? Okay,
Example of Ponzi schemes.
that also greed, that also you can give good example, right? reference में उसको भी रखेंगे, Ponzi schemes, ठीक है? And this is a greed of both like greed of the people who invest, right, for doubling their money within 2 years, 3 years, isn't it? That is also the greed aspect of greed, right? Yes.
So what is the difference between vision and the greed? Because in reference, this Prime Minister is expecting this have vision of $5 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
Is it feasible or not?
That time will tell, Yesterday I was analyzing budget, so I realized there is a decrease in budgetary expenditure, 1.2% का decrease is there, last 4-5 years. So like that depends, Vision is different, Vision is different, ठीक है ना? Here the statement is simple. There is enough for everyone's need, but not for greed. You have to substantiate कि why Gandhiji said so, कि there is enough for everyone's need, not for greed, isn't it? Because like there are enough resources, for to be paid to the employee and profit for the employer, isn't it? But this is the greed of employer, which results into discriminatory wages or lower wages paid to the employee, right? By flaunting the Lodge Minimum Wage Act, isn't it? This is the greed actually to accumulate more wealth. Getting your point? So you have to substantiate this statement, Yes, there is enough for needs, not for greed, and if there is greed, there are problems. अगर greed है तो वहाँ पे क्या है? Problems are there, isn't it? So उस reference में आपको बात करना है, right? Yes. In religious sphere also you can refer, religious sphere के अंदर like what we see, this crusade to till date, you know, like conflict between Israel and Palestine, isn't it? Somewhere that crusade which had started years back during dark ages, the traces we see, you know, like people are not ready to compromise, isn't it? Both countries, Palestine and Israel, not ready to compromise, not ready to fix the borders, isn't it? Encroaches in each other's territories, resulting into conflict, right? Yes.
So, due to unnecessary advertisement and social media, but the society unnecessary demands because of the advertisements.
That also, that analysis में last में you can write, isn't it? Analysis, ठीक है ना? Conclusive remark में you can write कि why greed is increasing in today's, what is today's scenario, right? Yes. Or yes.
So can you take an example of Mumbai slums, where at the one hand, Mumbai has the highest record number of flats, another investors there, they don't want to rent at lease
Yes, yes.
price, and at the other hand, people are living worse life in slums, and they are just doing crime.
Justifiable. This is justifiable. You can justify, right? Yes. Or
So can we take example of government schemes like farm loan billion, which have gone beyond the state budget, and the government is not able to focus on another things. The poor farmers also getting the loan, and the rich farmers also getting the farm loan billion. So actually the need is for the poor farmers, the need is not for the rich farmers. It's actually result in the
yes, इसको ऐसे like be that green revolution or post green revolution, you know, like subsidies provided to the farmers, but the subsidies or the all the policy benefits, you know, do not reach to the smaller marginal farmers because that is cornered by big farmers, right? Big farmers corners the benefits, right? Now 70 to 80% land is cropped by the tenants, sharecroppers, isn't it? Sharecroppers, tenants, right? But sharecroppers and tenants, you know, do not get benefit of the policies, isn't it? The benefits cornered by the landowners who are settled in urban areas, isn't it? Right. So this also, and reform is protested. Last year, many states like UP, Bihar particularly, after some committee report, the government tried to introduce a reform in Land Act by providing a right to the tenants to get direct benefit from the government, right? Tenants can get the receipt, I mean the tax, land tax paid in their on his name, and he will be benefited by the government policies. But that was protested heavily, isn't it? Because still, you know, landlordism continues, right? Like there are some caste groups who owns majority of the land. They protested that reform could not be introduced. So this is the greed, isn't it, of the people. Land reform failed in India because of the greed of landowning castes, isn't it? Right. Otherwise, the very first amendment, land reform was introduced, but that could not be successful, isn't it? Particularly in Jamindari regions of West Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha. Right. After independence, these states, like chief ministers, belong to landowning castes, higher caste, isn't it? Government passed Land Reform Act, Land Ceiling Act, but the states delayed implementation, isn't it? And during that period, manipulations, you know, happened. Land reform failed in these states, isn't it? At the time of independence, 4% of the population owned 80% of the land in these three states. Like particularly in Bihar, one land-owning caste owned 80% of the land, isn't it? And rest only 20% held by rest of the population, isn't it? आज भी landlessness is very high because of the greed of the landowning groups, isn't it? उसका कारण क्या हुआ? In future, Naxalism, Naxalite movement, Naxalbari movement started in West Bengal, spread in Bihar, Jharkhand, in all these states, isn't it? Because of this inequality in land ownership. Okay. So these references you can give. ये सारे points are. Yes, that also at international level. That उसी पे मैं आ रहा था कि at international level, you know, you can give many references, right? जैसे tariff war, trade war, right? Currency war, yes.
Points in religion we were discussing.
Religious experiment to communalism will refer, right? And religion may like still we see, you know, like intolerance leading to communal tensions, isn't it? Right? That is also, you know, greed का aspect, ठीक है? Imposing our own culture on others, isn't it? Religious, you know, values on others, right? Okay.
Sir,
Hmm.
so can you give example that people are ready to spend money by giving donation to a temple but they are evading tax?
Hmm.
They are not properly paying the tax. At the same time, they want to give the money to temple, not to any for socio-economic cause.
इसको कैसे रिलेट करेंगे? देयर इज एनफ फॉर एवरीवन्स नीड बट नॉट फॉर ग्रीड. इधर you have to justify कि if you know there is greed, there are problems. So highlighting the problem, you have to justify कि yes, so there are enough for everyone's need but not for greed.
So they are giving money to Christ, but they are not since they don't want to give the money to the people for the country. Justify that. You can see that many temples of people are giving.
No, that is the fact. I mean, is this justifiable? That you have to decide, na? ग्रीड, हाँ, ग्रीड पे फिट नहीं हो रहा है, राइट राइट, ग्रीड पे फिट नहीं हो रहा है, ठीक है, ये स्पिरिचुअल ग्रीड, राइट. और भी कंक्रीट एग्जांपल्स है दैट वी कैन गिव, राइट. यस, मल्टीनेशनल कॉर्पोरेटाइजेशन, isn't it? Transnational corporations, evasion of rights of the indigenous population, isn't it? Right, that also you can write. Trade war you can write, tariff war you can write, ठीक है ना. Currency evaluation, devaluation, currency war, that you can write, right. Recent example you can give like conflict in Middle East, isn't it, between developed and the countries of Middle East, right. Conflict over South China Sea, that also you can give, isn't it, right. This has potential to like turn the whole world into war, isn't it, third world war, isn't it, अगर ये greed बढ़ता रहा, if this greed continues, isn't it, right. If this tension is not contained on South China Sea, in future world may face third world war, isn't it, right. So yes, proxy wars, cold war, all result of greed, isn't it, right. So you have enough point to justify apart from environment, ठीक है, and write reverse thesis suggestion on the problems which you have highlighted. जितने problems आपने बात किए हैं, ठीक है, उसके ऊपर आप suggestion लिख देंगे. एक पैराग्राफ एनालिटिकल विल राइट, कि जैसे मैंने आपको सजेस्ट किया कि इन इंट्रोडक्शन लास्ट सेंटेंस शुड बी कि ग्रीड इज ए कॉम्प्लेक्स एंड मिसअंडरस्टूड इमोशन, isn't it? It can also motivate individual to innovate, to create, isn't it? Some level of like for innovation, creation, the quest is important. The quest is important, isn't it? But that quest when goes out of control, that leads to overutilization, isn't it, right? That quest when goes out of control, that is referred as greed. That quest becomes greed, getting a point, and that has dysfunctions, that is dysfunctional, isn't it, right? But some level of quest is important for innovation and creation. That thesis also you can write, isn't it? Yes. Yes, discovery of new routes, connectivity, right, interconnectedness, isn't it? Globalization, isn't it? And globalization has solved many problems that we cannot deny, isn't it? Internationalism has solved many problems that we cannot deny, isn't it? Okay, so this will be the line of thought. ऐसा सोचेंगे इसमें, ठीक है? एक like briefly, if the topic is gender equality turning promises into reality, gender equality turning promises into reality, आपको इसमें मैं डिस्कस नहीं करूँगा, पॉइंट सब आपको पता है, राइट. आई विल सजेस्ट यू कि हाउ टू स्ट्रक्चर, व्हाट टू राइट. Gender equality turning promises into reality. Topic may be women empowerment, opportunities, and challenges. Or topic may be, and topic may be, and not or, and gender equality turning promises into reality.
Sir,
Yes, 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 we will talk. Like, how to differentiate, you know, both are related to genders, you know, like women empowerment, opportunities and challenges, UPSC ने पूछा हुआ है. If the topic comes, you know, gender equality turning promises into reality, अगर ऐसा topic आता है, so what will be your orientation? How will you express the thesis? How will you explain the thesis in paragraphs? That you have to understand here, right? कैसे लिखेंगे? Like, certainly will go on time scale, ancient, medieval, right? British period, isn't it? What will you write? Sectoral scale में what will you write? क्या लिखेंगे इसमें?
So we can begin with that gender is more of an acquired term rather than natural, and then like it is more of
हो गया इंट्रोडक्शन का कि विल राइट जेंडर इज अ सोशल कंस्ट्रक्ट. ठीक है ना. यू विल डिफाइंड जेंडर, यू में डिफरेंशिएट सेक्स एंड जेंडर इन इंट्रोडक्शन में वो कर लेंगे. ठीक है ना. हियर आई वांट टू नो व्हाट हाउ विल यू एक्सप्रेस, राइट, बिकॉज प्रॉब्लम इन सच these topics are very easy to write. ठीक है ना. कि on time scale you will refer to ancient, medieval, British period, independence, constitutionalism, constitution, adoption of constitution. ठीक है ना. यहाँ तक आ जाएंगे टाइम स्केल में. ठीक है. यू विल गिव रेफरेंसेस एंशियंट इंडिया में, मेडिवल में, इज इट की इक्वालिटी इज रिफ्लेक्टेड, राइट, बट इक्वालिटी द इक्वल चॉइसेस वर लिमिटेड ओनली टू फ्यू, नॉट टू ऑल, इज इट. ठीक है ना. जैसे देयर वाज क्लास वेरिएबल, राइट, कि हायर क्लास women used to participate in sabha, educated women used to participate in sabha and samitis, not lower class women, isn't it? Like royalties had choice, royalties were empowered, had choice, isn't it? Not the masses, isn't it? Medieval period में रजिया सुल्तान का जब एग्जाम्पल देते हैं तो उसमें royalties, isn't it? Not the masses, right? During British period with reforms, isn't it? Women's participation increased, women were empowered, women participation increased, gender equality reflected, is it, in participation of women in education, economy, right, polity, etc. ठीक है. Adoption of constitution, equality was provided, right, in every sphere of society. How will you express that? I want to know. आपको समझना ये है. Look, not only description. जैसे ऐसे टॉपिक्स में होता क्या है कि most of you become emotional, right? Topic is gender equality turning promises into reality. Turning promises into reality. So, structuring this essay, you will describe the promises made in the Constitution. ठीक है. Constitution में जो promise है, right, in fundamental rights and DPSP, isn't it? That you have to describe. Promises made in Constitution. ठीक है. जेंडर इक्वालिटी के लिए promises made in constitution, right, for gender equality. उसका हिस्टोरिसिटी है जो भी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन प्रॉमिस है उसमें लाइक रिफॉर्म, सोशियो रिलीजियस रिफॉर्म मूवमेंट्स है, सावित्रीबाई फुले टू ईश्वर चंद विद्यासागर एंड मेनी रिफॉर्मर्स प्लेड, बट उन सब का एक्युमुलेशन, यू नो, वी सी, राइट, एक्युमुलेशन ऑफ ऑल द एडवोकेसीज वी सी, यू नो, and accommodation in our constitution, isn't it? Fundamental rights में and DPSPs में. ठीक है ना. DPSP में which article? Article 42, 39 and 42, right? 46 also? Huh? No. Yes, like 39 and 42. ठीक है ना. 39D. You will refer, you know, fundamental rights में equality, freedom, right, and specific, you know, 15 and 16, isn't it, right? 51A also you can. One more, you know, like a specific fundamental right, protection of women and children from exploitation. Huh? Child, right? Women.
15.3 and 16.3.
15.3 and 16.3. right? So refer to, if you recall, otherwise see the fundamental right, you know, if you can specify article, that will be better, right? So highlight the promises and then how these promises are turning into reality. Family promises turning into reality, उधर contemplate नहीं करेंगे, रोना गाना नहीं करेंगे कि women are exploited, women are discriminated, women are, इधर topic क्या पूछ रहा है? Getting a point, मतलब एक generalist approach. Yes.
So we'll focus on the implementation part. How
Yes.
we are bringing the promises to reality.
Reality, yes, yes, yes. Like we will refer to the acts, we will refer to the laws, we will refer to the policies, and also the women, right, in society, women in the society, those who are participating, isn't it, in different sectors. Getting your point, right? So like मेरा idea ये है ना कि देखिए, there is different demand of the topic, context is different. जैसे women empowerment में it will describe the challenges. कि these are the challenges at family level, economy, polity, education, religion, right? And these are the opportunities, isn't it? Opportunities provided by constitution as well as policies and programs, isn't it? Civil society, right? NGOs, pressure groups, women organization providing opportunities, वो लिखेंगे, ठीक है ना? The context of this topic is different from gender equality turning promises into reality, right? On women there may be many topics, right? Variable topics हो सकता है, and the context of all the topics will be different. Context जो होगा वो different होगा, isn't it? ऐसा topic में it will not do रोना गाना or like will not write all negative things कि women are not gender equality is a myth, gender equality ऐसा भी लिख देते हैं लोग. आपको context according you have to count on कि how the promises made in constitution turning into reality. How the promises, right, advocacies of reformers, right from Jyotiba Phule, Savitribai Phule to Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar and many others, you know, turning into reality. Mahatma Gandhi ji turning into reality in different spheres, you know. Family level पे it will refer to egalitarian acts. क्या? Hindu Marriage Act, isn't it? Hindu Marriage Act. It will refer to Inheritance Act, isn't it? Inheritance Act. Right, equal right to inherit property, isn't it? Equality of opportunity provided by parents, isn't it? Parents, you know, least discriminate between, right, son, child, and right, and provide opportunity to be educated, isn't it? Employed. Getting your point, right? So like you will trace, you know, such positive things, implementation part, isn't it? Right, functionality of the constitutional promises, family, economy, polity, education, religion also, religion, right? Now we are talking of, you know, differential treatment, right, and facilitation for women in wake of natural calamities, right? This was a point of talk in Paris climate change talks, or before that. Paris के पहले क्या हुआ था? हाँ? हाँ? पेरिस के पहले मुझे भी याद नहीं आ रहा क्या था. फैक्ट आपका अच्छा है. क्लाइमेट चेंज टॉक्स बिफोर पेरिस. हाँ, Kyoto, right? Kyoto. There also like there was discussion and special talks for women, right? Because women are differently affected during natural calamities, isn't it? There are reports of FAO and many like organization कि women are differently affected. Women are domesticated, so they are differently affected, right? Women have no like control over wealth, isn't it? Like their adoptional capacity is low, right? Their mitigation capacity is low. So now there also egalitarian treatment is being given, isn't it? In aspect of environment too, isn't it? Like so in many sectors, you know, you will count how these promises turning into reality. We'll give example. Let's say economy में there will be many sectors. Agriculture, women farmers empowerment scheme is there at the place to empower women farmers, isn't it? Self-help groups are there in agriculture. Jivika Samitis are there to empower women in agriculture and allied activities, isn't it? So what is this? These are yes, priority sector lending is there. Under that also, you know, Ajivika committees are formed, isn't it? Lending for Ajivika committees, like under livelihood mission, है ना, livelihood mission जिसका नाम अब चेंज हो गया, दीनदयाल उपाध्याय livelihood mission, right? ठीक है. So उसमें Ajivika committees are formed, right? for special priority lending to women, for women entrepreneurship, isn't it? So like these are the aspects of promises turning into reality, right? Political sphere में पंचायती राज, state assemblies, central, right, cabinet representation has increased, isn't it? Promises turning into reality, isn't it? Education में you will count कि at all levels of education women का participation, isn't it, increasing. A special initiative has been taken by government establishing Kasturba Gandhi Vidyalayas, isn't it? Like all women universities, right, all women colleges, isn't it? Women polytechnics, right? In skill development also special care for women's participation, isn't it? Like, so there are many such. You will refer to those. India book का जो फैक्ट है उसको रेफर करेंगे टू जस्टिफाई कि यस प्रॉमिसेस टर्निंग इनटू रियलिटी. अच्छा, केवल स्टेटमेंट देने से काम नहीं चलेगा वैक्यूम में. यू विल हैव टू फैक्टिफाई, यू विल हैव टू सब्सटेंशिएट विद द फैक्ट्स, ठीक है ना, बिकॉज डिमांड ऑफ द टॉपिक इज कि हाउ प्रॉमिसेस आर टर्निंग इनटू रियलिटी, दैट यू हैव टू जस्टिफाई. एंड देन प्री कंक्लूसिव में यू विल काउंट ऑन द प्रॉब्लम्स, राइट. इन एवरी एस्पेक्ट देयर आर the promises yet to be realized, isn't it? ठीक है, उसमें subaltern perspective लेकर आएंगे, right? Subaltern perspective लेकर आएंगे. उसमें we will talk about like tribal women, minority women, isn't it? Women from lower stratum, Dalit communities, isn't it? Right? Rural women, right? Like there are disparities, tribal, non-tribal, scheduled caste, non-scheduled caste, rural, urban, isn't it? Right, high caste, lower caste women, high class, lower class women, there are disparities, so not all women, like for all promises turning into realities, isn't it? Right. You will refer to patriarchal violence in the family, incest violence in the family, ineconomic, harassment at the workplaces, isn't it? Dropouts from work organization, differential wages, right, work segregation, isn't it? Here political sphere में सरपंच पति पंचायत, surrogate representation, isn't it? Lower representation at a state level, at central level, in cabinet, isn't it? Like in religion also still women, like many practices, inhuman practices continues in our society because of religious propagation, isn't it? Though constitution provides for like constitutional provision is there for secularism, secular outlook, but still religion influences women's position, isn't it, in society. So like weaknesses we will highlight and conclude with suggestions, suggestive remark, ठीक है ना. So ये होगा इसका बॉडी, ठीक है. जैसे टॉपिक हो सकता है women empowerment myth और reality, right? Women empowerment opportunities and challenges, gender equality turning promises into reality. So different topics though related with women, but you will not write the same content. You have to orient yourself, your expression should be different, ठीक है ना. आपका expression जो है वो different होगा. इसमें gender equality वाले में you will also refer to transgenders, isn't it? Transgenders का refer करेंगे, ठीक है ना. Turning promises into reality, right? Recent changes, many states reserve seats in government jobs and all, isn't it? Right, so that also will refer, ठीक है. If the topic is like स्पोर्ट्स अभी चल रहा है, एक स्पोर्ट्स से इस पर टॉपिक आना चाहिए, ठीक है ना. तो क्या पहले भी जब भी कुछ लाइक पॉपुलर स्पोर्टिंग इवेंट हैज हैपेंड, यूपीएससी हैज आस्क्ड क्वेश्चन रिलेटेड विद स्पोर्ट, राइट. सो स्पोर्ट्स से अगर क्वेश्चन आता है, टॉपिक आता है, तो इन जीएस ऑल्सो यू कैन एक्सपेक्ट क्वेश्चन रिलेटेड विद स्पोर्टिंग, राइट. If the topic is topic is like developing sporting culture in India. Developing sporting culture in India. Problems and promises, colon, problems and promises. Developing a sporting culture in India. Problems, colon, problems and promises, or प्रोमिसेस में तो इजी है लिखना. क्या लिखेंगे प्रोमिसेस में? हाँ, प्रोमिसेस में यार खेलो इंडिया इज कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव यू नो इनिशिएटिव. खेलो इंडिया, ठीक है. प्लीज स्विच इट ऑफ. उधर स्विच होगा इसका, स्विच इट ऑफ. This is also for greed actually, for luxury, you know. Greed for luxury, right? Luxurious life, isn't it? But आपको नहीं होना चाहिए. Avoid if you're writing mains, you know, avoid going to libraries before 1 month, क्योंकि वहाँ बड़ा luxury होता है, right? AC, coffee, right? 3 hours में आप 3 बार कॉफ़ी पीते, UPSC तो नहीं पिलाएगा ना. Getting your point? तो माइंड को स्टिमुलेट करने के लिए इधर तो स्टिमुलेंट मिल जाता है, बट यूपीएससी में नहीं मिलेगा, स्लो हो जाएगा इसका फंक्शनिंग, राइट. एसी नहीं मिलेगा. गेटिंग योर पॉइंट, राइट. इस बार तो सितंबर में और इन द मोस्ट ह्यूमिड यू नो लाइक सिचुएशन में आपको लिखना है, ठीक है, पेपर. ओके. सो इफ दिस टॉपिक डेवलपिंग स्पोर्टिंग कल्चर इन इंडिया, प्रॉब्लम्स एंड प्रोमिसेस, टाइम स्केल एंड सेक्टरल स्केल. टाइम स्केल, सेक्टरल स्केल, व्हाट विल यू थिंक? क्या सोचेंगे? प्लीज थिंक फॉर 5 मिनट्स. 5 मिनट के लिए इस पे प्लीज. डेवलपिंग स्पोर्टिंग कल्चर इन इंडिया, प्रॉब्लम्स एंड प्रोमिसेस. बस. So on time scale क्या लिखेंगे? What will you write?
References to bow and arrow.
Hmm?
References to bow and arrow. References to kusti like in JPSC.
Developing sporting culture. Here the term is sporting culture. Please, sports. Think about sports and sporting culture. Right? Culture has a framework actually, right? जब भी कल्चर बोलेंगे तो उसका एक फ्रेमवर्क होता है, राइट? आई मीन सिस्टम, ठीक है ना?
Caste differences during like Mahabharata. Karna was not coached, but Arjuna was coached. So, like, can we like accessibility of coaching?
So but sports is more of a modern concept. I mean, so like we should start from modern times in this. I feel.
Yes.
So we can talk of traditional kusti akhadas.
Yes.
Haryana and Kolhapur area.
Yes, 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 yes. हाँ हाँ.
So people used to please the rulers by playing different names like kusti and
Yes.
Then chess was originated in India.
Kancha also, right? Okay.
Real paintings depicting various archery and all that stuff.
Yes. Yes. Okay. आपका क्या है? Thoughtful man.
I have more written on problems and promises, but not the introduction part.
Okay. So problem में क्या लिखा आपने? Problems.
We can say lack of family and society support for sport, then child's interest in sport, pursuing sports.
Time scale. I'm asking time scale.
Yeah.
Because everybody will write sectors. Here you can take competitive is by writing something on time scale.
That I did explore.
That you have to explore.
So in culture we can translate that sport from being more the mode of an entertainment has now converted into more of a profession. I mean, so like this we can translate.
On time scale, what we see, ki most of you, as you rightly said, you know, and referred sports, kusti, akhadas and all, right? Like sports were there in ancient age. Sports था, ठीक है ना? Sporting events also, right?
Horse ride.
But not the sporting culture. Sporting culture was not there, right? In ancient ages, sports were there for entertainment of the royalties, isn't it? Royalties के entertainment के लिए, during festivals, celebrations, sporting events were organized, isn't it? During festivals, ceremonies, isn't it? For entertainment, for mass entertainment also, as well as class entertainment. There were some sports for mass entertainment and some sports for class entertainment, isn't it? Right? Boat racing and all, ठीक है ना? Sporting culture was not there because sporting culture जैसा इन्होंने अभी modern society में जो problem count किया या आप करते हैं count, those problems that were there in ancient, in medieval ages, like caste का system, caste and caste, practice of untouchability, social distance. Sporting is a public, you know, activity, isn't it? Activity in public as well, but in public as well there was practice of, you know, untouchability, separation, social distance, isn't it? So the sporting culture could not develop, right? Sporting culture could not develop in ancient society, isn't it? So एक problem तो हम trace करते हैं ancient societies में ही ना, medieval societies में ही ना, isn't it? Like during British period, sporting was, जैसे आप देखते हैं कि स्पोर्ट्स का डेवलपमेंट हुआ ड्यूरिंग ब्रिटिश पीरियड, लाइक क्रिकेट, राइट, फुटबॉल. सो हु यूज्ड टू प्ले क्रिकेट? कौन क्रिकेट खेलते थे? ब्रिटिशर्स एज वेल एज मेजर ध्यानचंद, मेजर ध्यानचंद, कर्नल CK नायडू, राइट. So sporting was developed, you know, for creative engagement of the armed forces, right? क्योंकि war का situation was not there, so armed forces were, you know, engaged creatively through sporting. Britishers also did not focus on developing the culture, right, and making sporting as a mass activity, उनका भी फोकस नहीं था मेकिंग स्पोर्टिंग एज मास एक्टिविटी बट क्रिएटिव एंगेजमेंट ऑफ द आर्म्ड फोर्सेस. गेटिंग योर पॉइंट? सो प्रॉब्लम was there in ancient ages, medieval as well as modern in developing sporting culture. ठीक है ना? पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस थोड़ा सा लिख देंगे कि प्रायोरिटीज एट द टाइम ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस, प्रायोरिटीज पॉवर्टी एलिवेशन, राइट, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट, creating more employment, generating employment, food security, right, rural developments, isn't it? Like reconstruction of the villages, isn't it? Administration, society, that was the focus. Sporting could not be important area to focus, right, by the governments, by the center, by the states. नहीं हो सका. ठीक है? So वहाँ तक problem persist किया, right? Problem persisted, right? Then other problems in different spheres. ठीक है ना? जैसे family sphere में, right? क्या लिखा है आपने? What you said? Social.
Society and family doesn't support pursuing sports for children.
Yes.
Because these children themselves are not interested in pursuing sports. Rather than
Because look, children themselves not interested because like in the family they are not socialized for sporting, isn't it? Right. Sporting culture is not there, right. हमारे culture में sporting is not embedded. So like in the family and society, like children are not socialized into sporting, isn't it? They are socialized in modern education, technology, isn't it? Right, but not in sporting. ठीक है ना? तो वहाँ पे एक problem है. ठीक है ना?
Plus in India, million plus children are malnutrition, so they are typically unfit to.
that is also मतलब एक area है. जैसे family के level पे ही like patriarchal socialization is there, authoritarian socialization is there. You are socialized, to become IAS, you are socialized to become engineer, you are guided by the patriarch, you are not provided the choice. Even if the children have interest in sports, right, that they are not allowed to pursue that, isn't it? Because हमारे authoritarian parenting है, isn't it? Like saying है, खेलोगे कूदोगे बनोगे खराब, isn't it? And पढ़ोगे लिखोगे तो बनोगे नवाब, isn't it? Right, this is the saying also, right. Okay, so this is like within the family, gender discrimination is there. ठीक है? So that also, like when we talk of women, so because of gender discrimination, even if they are interested in sports, right, they fail to pursue. ठीक है ना? उसके बाहर निकलते अपन तो एक और है, जैसे very important factor इन्होंने बताया कि poverty is there. Poverty leads to deprivation and malnutrition, isn't it? Or the society which like suffers from poverty, deprivation, malnutrition in such societies, like a sporting culture cannot develop, and that is the case with India too. Getting your point, right? जैसे हमारे यहाँ तो ऐसा है कि like variety of like the people's genetics, very much supportive. I mean, we have population of various क्या बोलते हैं उसको, बायोलॉजी वाला कोई है, right? Genetic diversity is there, right? We have geographical diversity, right? जैसे there are many states where there are many countries where geographical diversity is not there, isn't it? And geographical diversity facilitates development of a sporting culture, diverse sports, right? कि अपने यहाँ आइस पोलो भी हो सकता है, right? लेकिन there are countries where ice polo is not possible. Getting your point? वो artificial Iceland तो बनाएंगे नहीं, isn't it? Getting your point, right? Like diversity, like in our society, people belong to multiple ethnicities, rural, urban, isn't it? Tribals are very efficient in sporting. Many tribals are now excelling in different sports, isn't it? Baichung Bhutia and all, like so all those, like all these, functional requirements are there, needs are present. This geographical diversity, genetic diversity, these are all functional for development of sporting culture, isn't it? Suitable for development of sporting culture. But there are some factors because of which a sporting culture could not develop. One is family level पे socialization, isn't it? Lack of motivation, getting your point, lack of facilitation. Then at economic level, sporting is not considered as a stable career option, or you can say lack of reflection of career in sporting, permanent career in sporting, isn't it? Permanent income in sporting, isn't it? Right? Yes.
Private sector sponsorship is less and
Yes.
equitable as well.
Yes. Private sector sponsorship is also less and limited to certain sports, isn't it? Not all, right?
And it also favors those sportsmen who are presently existingly popular.
Yes, not the retired, isn't it?
Upcoming
Yes,
sport persons.
yes. That also.
There is
ठीक है ना?
disparity between cricket and
Other sports, right? Preference is given by multinational corporations and private investors only to certain sports, not to all sports, isn't it? Mass sports को नहीं, ठीक है ना?
regional disparity as well, because Northeast produces more better sportsmen compared to
other. Yes. This also is the problem. Yes, ये भी problem है, ठीक है? Social security also, lack of social security, economic security as well as social security. Like there is a lack of reflection. जैसे अगर parents है, तो parents fail to reflect sport as a permanent career, isn't it? For economic security as well as social. Economic security है तो social security है, isn't it? They fail to reflect on, isn't it? और इसलिए they are not motivated to incentivize and motivate their children in sports, isn't it? So economic factors में ये सारे point count करेंगे, poverty भी count करेंगे, isn't it? Economic factor में lack of resources to pursue sporting as career, isn't it? Training and all, right?
this reflection
Political, हाँ.
this reflection to physical education teachers, the human resource available.
एजुकेशन में जाएंगे, एजुकेशन का सेक्टर, राइट? एक बार पॉलिटिकल सेक्टर में देखते हैं. इन पॉलिटिकल सेक्टर लैक ऑफ पॉलिटिकल विल, लैक ऑफ पॉलिटिकल लैक ऑफ पॉलिसीज, इजंट इट? Lack of infrastructure, isn't it? Because of lack of policies, right?
The sport governance issue like corruption.
Yes, sport governance का issues also will write. Corruption in sporting authorities, yes. Corruption is reported regularly, isn't it? Right. So that also will write. Like the politics and administration, like administrations are the politicians and the administrators are focused on other popular issues, isn't it? Right? And sporting issues, issues related with the sporting development camouflaged by other popular issues, isn't it? Like there is not permanent infrastructure of governance, isn't it? And widespread infrastructure of governance in sporting, isn't it? Sporting is still, controlled by some authorities, isn't it? Right? Do you think we have infrastructure at district level for governance of sports? नहीं. Block level sporting governance के लिए BDOs and all, they are invited just to give cups rural cricket tournament, ठीक है ना? DMs and SDMs वो केवल कप देते नजर आएंगे रूरल क्रिकेट टूर्नामेंट्स में, नॉट प्रोवाइडिंग नो फैसिलिटीज, इजंट इट? फैसिलिटीज नहीं प्रोवाइड करते हैं, राइट?
Even if they are there, they are not maintained to a proper.
Yes, even if they are there, like in some states like Haryana, right, sporting infrastructure is there, but that is not maintained properly, isn't it? And always corruption and all reported, ठीक है? So this is also the problem, ठीक है? Other education में इन्होंने जैसे कहा कि education, so our focus like sporting is not a compulsory event in educational institution, right? Educational institution may this is not a compulsory, this is not part of the curriculum also, right? This is not part of the curriculum, though policies are there to make it mandatory, isn't it? But even if policies are there, that is not implemented, isn't it? Sporting क्या होता है? लीजर का पीरियड होता है, टीचर्स अपना आराम करते हैं, बच्चे बाहर घूमते हैं, ठीक है, सिगरेट पीते हैं, गुटखा खाते हैं, ठीक है ना? Like so this is not part of curriculum. If this would have been part of curriculum, if there would have been trained teachers, isn't it? Physical education, isn't it? System would have been strong, then certainly culture would have developed, isn't it? So we will highlight the problems at educational. Yes, sports scholarship also, that is also, वो भी हाईलाइट कर सकते हैं कि लैक ऑफ स्पोर्ट स्कॉलरशिप और लिमिटेड नंबर ऑफ देयर आर बट नंबर इज लिमिटेड, स्कॉलरशिप का नंबर इज वेरी लिमिटेड. द क्वांट
So our curriculum is such that a person who are efficient at sports have to leave the studies midway.
yes, this is also one fact. ठीक है, ये भी लिखेंगे. और क्या कह सकते हैं? Yes, that is also academics. ठीक है ना, stressed, over stressed, you know. yes. और जैसे पॉवर्टी का फैक्टर इंडिया कॉन्टेक्स्ट में ना, पॉवर्टी का फैक्टर, डिप्रिवेशन का फैक्टर, माइग्रेशन का फैक्टर, राइट, लाइक ब्रोकन फैमिलीज, इवन इफ लाइक माइग्रेशन है, सेपरेशन है, दीज फैक्टर्स ऑल्सो अफेक्ट्स, यू नो, लाइक पीपल आर स्ट्राइविंग फॉर लाइवलीहुड, इजंट इट? तो जहाँ जब तक प्रॉस्पेरिटी नहीं आएगा, पीपल like are secure enough, you know, to pursue the leisure activity, because in sports you have to invest a lot, isn't it? Right? तो उसके लिए ज़रूरी है ना कि prosperity हो. तो overall prosperity in society, you know, prepares ground for development of a sporting culture, isn't it? Right? Okay, so these factors we will count problems में, ठीक है? Infrastructural factors and all that we will count in, and then we will give suggestions referring to the Khelo India initiative, because this is very, you know, holistic initiative. ठीक है ना? Khelo India initiative is very holistic initiative, you know, for developing sporting culture in India. ठीक है, तो उसका रेफरेंस आप देंगे वो इंडिया बुक.
Sports university at Manipur.
हाँ, opening up of sports universities, right? Now government has, you know, plan, a detailed plan that is mentioned in Khelo India. वो फैक्ट आप रेफर कर लीजिएगा, ठीक है ना? इनिशिएटिव, यस, प्रॉमिसेस, खेलो इंडिया इनिशिएटिव्स को रेफर कर दीजिए, ठीक है ना? नेक्स्ट टॉपिक, यू नो, टेक्नोलॉजी इज अ यूजफुल सर्वेंट बट अ डेंजरस मास्टर. टेक्नोलॉजी इज अ यूजफुल सर्वेंट बट अ डेंजरस मास्टर. प्लीज ब्रेनस्टॉर्म फॉर 5 मिनट्स. क्या लिखेंगे इस टॉपिक में? टेक्नोलॉजी इज अ यूजफुल सर्वेंट बट अ डेंजरस मास्टर. खेलो इंडिया प्रॉमिसेस लिखने के बाद जैसे सजेशन में दीजिए कि until unless we make sporting everyone's event, sporting everyone's event, right? We cannot develop a sporting, we will fail to develop a sporting culture in India. So sporting should be everyone's event. A sporting event should not be class event, isn't it? Should not be, you know, event, you know, like men's event, class event, isn't it? But should be everyone's event, right? Okay, उस लाइन पे खैर. Now next topic, technology is a useful servant but a dangerous master. Please brainstorm for 5 minutes, then I will discuss. Yes, done. Yes, so on time scale, technology is useful servant but a dangerous master, right? So there are two broad dimension, clear dimension कि how technology is useful servant. ठीक है. So time scale में क्या लिखेंगे? What will you refer? Time scale? हाँ? Yes, ठीक है. हाँ. हाँ, yes. Fire used for cleaning jungles, agriculture, right? Settled, habitation, isn't it? Technology useful servant, right? ठीक है. एक इंस्टांस आपने बहुत एंशिएंट से ले लिया. ठीक है. और
Ancient में can we say bow and arrow was used for hunting and gathering, but eventually higher grade bows and arrows dictated worth and
dangerous. Yes, very true. ठीक है ना?
Also go for gunpowder.
Yes,
And bombs.
you can. Not only negative connotation. जैसे उन्होंने कहा कि bow and arrow used for hunting and gathering. So technology, food security, technology is useful servant, isn't it? Dangerous master, right? With advancement in technology, copper, bow and arrows, isn't it? Right, iron bow and arrows, isn't it? Advancement in technology that became a dangerous master because the same technology used for enslaving the people, enslavement, slavery. Getting your point?
Industrial revolution brought economic gains in the Europe, but that's
हाँ.
brought slavery in
Yes.
Africa and South.
Yes, that also. See, like reference, जैसे मैंने बोला, उन्होंने कहा कि fire was used for cleaning jungles, right? Agriculture, right? But with advancement in technology, and this agriculture, habitation, isn't it? Men controlled over the land, isn't it? They controlled women, isn't it? Like they asserted themselves as feudal lords, isn't it? Right. So the same technology which was useful servant turned to be a dangerous master. Getting your point? Useful servant as well as dangerous. तो ऐसा टाइम स्केल में आप रेफरेंस देंगे कॉमर्शियल रिवोल्यूशन का, टेक्नोलॉजी, ग्लोब, राइट? ग्लोबलाइजेशन स्टार्टेड विद डिस्कवरी ऑफ रूट्स. सो ग्लोब, राइट? Astronomy, like astronomical calculations, right? All led to discovery of boats, modern boats, discovery of routes, isn't it? Scientific revolution, right? Industrial revolution, but in course of time, colonization, exploitation, enslavement, isn't it? Right. So technology is useful servant as well as dangerous master. कुछ ऐसा टाइम स्केल में एग्जांपल्स देंगे. Yes, we'll refer those. टाइम स्केल में आप रेफर करिए टेक्नोलॉजी which facilitated, right, growth and development as well as exploitative, consequences. ठीक है. On sectoral scale, technology. हाँ.
So one question. So like if we give reference of nuclear bomb and all, so that is an example of negative use of technology. But we cannot say that in that case technology is a master. Like it is not guiding us. So like so master will be a thing when the technology is dictating us something. Like we so much engrossed in social media that it is creating hyper reality. So that will be a case of master.
Nuclear bomb will be a case
Look.
of master because our neighboring country is having nuclear bomb. So we will have to develop it. We will have to divert our money from development to weapon development, and that will because we need nuclear deterrence. So it does that for this impact on
compulsion is there.
Like इतना रेफरेंस में नहीं देंगे, right? But yes, like if you are giving, कि technological development, right? Certainly the purpose was to serve the humanity, isn't it? Serve the humans, isn't it? But their usage, in course of time, because of their Frankenstein usages, technology is becoming the dangerous master. That is, influencing our behavior. जैसे इन्होंने एक रीजनिंग दिया, आपको रीजनिंग ही देना है ना, कि डाइवर्जन ऑफ फंड्स फ्रॉम डेवलपमेंट टू नॉन डेवलपमेंटल वेपनाइजेशन, इजंट इट, फॉर डेवलपिंग सोसाइटीज बी दैट इंडिया और पाकिस्तान, इजंट इट, तो है ना, वो इन्फ्लुएंस कर रहा है ना, राइट राइट, यस. सो रीजनिंग यू कैन डिराइव, रीजनिंग आप डिराइव कर सकती हैं, ठीक है ना. देन इन सेक्टर्स, यू नो, अगेन कमिंग बैक टू अपना फिक्स्ड पैटर्न, टेक्नोलॉजी यूजफुल सर्वेंट, टेक्नोलॉजी यूजफुल सर्वेंट इन स्फीयर ऑफ इकोनॉमी, इकोनॉमिक स्फीयर में टेक्नोलॉजी रिवोल्यूशनाइज्ड प्रोडक्शन, राइट, इनोवेशन, steam engine, power mills, industries, right, urbanization, growth and development of civilization, right. इकोनॉमी के अंदर अगर देखें तो एग्रीकल्चर, एग्रीकल्चर में यू नो मैकेनाइजेशन ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर, हाई वैरायटी सीड्स, राइट, रिजल्टेड इनटू ग्रीन रिवोल्यूशन. Today, India is net exporter of cotton because of genetically modified BT cotton, isn't it? BT cotton में, ठीक है. Like today, in many regions, you know, like Maharashtra, administration using drones for assessment of crop losses for real time compensation. Getting your point कि उसको डिले नहीं करना होगा कि फील्ड में कोई जाएगा फिर वो उसको रिपोर्ट करेगा जहाँ करप्शन होगा, isn't it? Now district administration, you know, directly assessing, you know, the situation through technology, drones, isn't it? Right. Use of ISRO satellites for assessment of intensity of flood, drought, isn't it? तो ये सब क्या है, फैसिलिटेट कर रहा है ना एग्रीकल्चर को, राइट. तो ऐसे पॉइंट्स यू हैव टू जनरेट, ऐसा पॉइंट जनरेट करना है कि टेक्नोलॉजी इज यूजफुल सर्वेंट, isn't it? Right. ठीक है. You can also relate with the IT sector facilitating employment in developing countries like India. Information and technology sector, कितने लोगों को employment दिया IT sector, right? Digitization, digital India, right? Okay. Then in field of, you know, education में टेक्नोलॉजी, जैसे अभी क्या है गवर्नमेंट का जितना इनिशिएटिव्स है दैट इज टेक्नोलॉजिकली एम्बेडेड, राइट. जैसे स्वैम इज देयर, टेली एजुकेशन इज देयर, सैटेलाइट एजुकेशन इज देयर, राइट, ई एजुकेशन सिस्टम्स, isn't it? Right. So technology here facilitating, right, minimizing the geographical, you know, distances, isn't it? Right. Geographical disparities and diversity also is at times, you know, like causes hindrance, you know, in providing services to the public, isn't it? जैसे एजुकेशनल सर्विसेज है, स्टेट का ड्यूटी है, रोल है, लेकिन उसमें लाइक ज्योग्राफी बैरियर, राइट. बट नाउ थ्रू टेक्नोलॉजी, राइट, दोज बैरियर्स आर बीइंग क्रॉस्ड, isn't it? सो इसमें लिखेंगे पॉलिटिक्स में हाँ, चैलेंज सेपरेट लिखेंगे, सेपरेट, राइट. सर्वेंट, हाउ टेक्नोलॉजी इज अ सर्वेंट, ठीक है. पॉलिटिक्स में क्या लिखेंगे, ई गवर्नेंस, राइट. सम कॉन्क्रीट एग्जाम्पल, यस, ई गवर्नेंस, ई नैम, जितना वो गवर्नेंस में टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज दैट यू कैन, isn't it? Like today direct governance, direct benefit transfer, isn't it? Like in indirect democracy, you know, in indirect democracy now you have direct access to the authorities, isn't it? Your political leadership, isn't it? Prime Minister को आप direct access कर सकते हैं, not through your representatives but direct access is there. पहले क्या होता है, रिप्रेजेंटेटिव को थ्रू एक्सेस टू प्राइम मिनिस्टर, अब तो डायरेक्ट भी mygovernment.in, pm.in इसके ऊपर लिख सकते हैं ना, isn't it? सो टेक्नोलॉजी, ये सब रेफरेंस देंगे, ठीक है ना. हाँ, हम मोबिलाइजेशन ऑफ, फॉर एग्जांपल इलेक्शंस में, यस, मोबिलाइजेशन ऑफ मासेस एंड डेमोक्रेसी strengthened with, you know, participation of people. More the people participate, more democracy become stronger, isn't it? So that is also. अच्छा, इलेक्शन की बात आपने किया तो उसमें टेक्नोलॉजी डोंट यू थिंक हैज मिनिमाइज्ड बूथ कैप्चरिंग, राइट. पहले लोग लेकर भाग जाते थे बॉक्स, isn't it? ठीक है ना. सो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वोटिंग मशीन्स, ठीक है ना, वो डिबेट जो बाहर चल रहा है वो अलग बात है, बट अभी अपन को पॉलिटिकली करेक्ट होना है, एंड दैट इज कि इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वोटिंग मशीन्स, यूज ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, राइट, हैज कंट्रोल्ड बूथ कैप्चरिंग एंड ऑल द प्रॉब्लम्स, इज इट?
also led to meddling of elections, like US accused Russia of cyber meddling.
Cyber meddling.
So it's a negative.
That is accusations actually. That is accusation
What
actually.
technology is being used to influence the voters, like on Facebook, they run campaigns.
हाँ ठीक है, वो negatives में लिखेंगे ना. That is monster also. Technology is monster also. So first you have to think how this is a servant. How this is a servant, isn't it? तो इसमें कोई डाउट नहीं होना चाहिए कि इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वोटिंग मशीन्स हैव फैसिलिटेटेड लाइक इलेक्शनरिंग प्रोसेस. ठीक है, ओके. और क्या कहेंगे?
concept of virtual
सिक्योरिटी में ऑल्सो, लाइक सिक्योरिटी, राइट, सिक्योरिटी टेक्नोलॉजी एज अ सर्वेंट इन स्फीयर ऑफ सिक्योरिटी. जो भी आपका सिलेबस है, मैं सिलेबस के पॉइंट ही बोल रहा हूँ, राइट. जैसे अनमैन्ड एरियल व्हीकल्स, राइट, सुपरविजन ऑफ बॉर्डर्स, राइट, डिजास्टर प्रोन एरियाज, राइट, क्राइम कंट्रोल, राइट. सो दिस यू कैन राइट. ठीक है ना. इनफैक्ट इन्वायरमेंट के फील्ड में टेक्नोलॉजी यूज फॉर वाइल्ड लाइफ मैनेजमेंट, टेक्नोलॉजी in field of environment, as sector of environment, thermal imaging, right. कुछ अभी मेरे को याद नहीं आ रहा टेक्नोलॉजी का नाम, बट some technology is being used to protect tigers and lions from poaching also, yes, that you can, वो रेफर कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, वाइल्ड लाइफ मैनेजमेंट के लिए, राइट. ठीक है. फोरकास्ट ऑफ डिजास्टर्स, प्रिवेंशन ऑफ डिजास्टर्स, फोरकास्ट ऑफ डिजास्टर्स, राइट. जुडिशियरी में टेक्नोलॉजी, आर बी यूजिंग टेक्नोलॉजी इन जुडिशियरी, क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम में, यस, राइट. कैसे? ई फाइलिंग, ऑनलाइन फाइलिंग ऑफ FIRs, isn't it, right? हेल्थ के फील्ड में ऑल्सो, टेलीमेडिसिन एंड ऑल, हेल्थ के फील्ड में. जैसे क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम में एक तो अभी ये हो गया आपका लाइक साइंटिफिक इन्वेस्टिगेशंस ऑल्सो, ऑनलाइन FIRs एज वेल एज, जैसे लास्ट ईयर वन ईमेल कुछ कैंपेन चला था ना जिसमें कि EPIL, right? Me Too movement also, like technology facilitated, right, to register the complaints, She-box also, isn't it? So that you can refer protection,
DNA data bank.
हाँ, DNA data bank, that also, ठीक है ना, वो भी लिख सकते हैं. ठीक है. Apart from this, the positives of social media, right, Twitter handles and all, you can directly register your complaint, right? You can communicate to the ministers, the cabinet ministers, isn't it, right? So social media का भी count करेंगे. ठीक है. Then और positives आप think over, और भी इसमें सोच सकते हैं बहुत. Artificial intelligence का use facilitation, yes, that also you can. ठीक है.
Use of blockchain technology for preventing corruption.
ठीक है. That also. Navigation system, yes, GPS system, navigation system, simplifying the movements, isn't it? ठीक है.
Space technology.
हाँ?
Space technology.
Yes, that also. Space technology का positives you will write. ठीक है. So बहुत point है इसमें लिखने के लिए. Servant, ठीक है ना? As well as dangerous master. At times it also becomes Frankenstein monster, right? So what are the dimensions? Dangerous master. फैमिली के लेवल पे ऑल्सो यू विल राइट वन पॉइंट, लाइक जैसे रिप्रोडक्टिव टेक्नोलॉजीज, राइट, कंट्रोल ऑफ पॉपुलेशन, फैसिलिटेटेड वुमेन, राइट, फ्रीड वुमेन फॉर पार्टिसिपेशन इन पब्लिक लाइफ. उसका पॉजिटिव है वुमेन के ऊपर, वुमेन्स पार्टिसिपेशन इन पब्लिक लाइफ, फ्रीइंग फ्रॉम रिप्रोडक्टिव रोल्स, राइट, दैट बैरियर्स. ठीक है. सो दैट ऑल्सो यू कैन राइट. ठीक है. In every sector, you please count on the negatives, right? You will find many negatives and some special negatives like जैसे सोशल मीडिया आपने कहा, लास्ट में मैंने कहा, तो एडिक्शन टू स्मार्टफोन्स एंड सोशल मीडिया, isn't it? Addiction to smartphones and social media, isn't it? लाइक सोशल मीडिया जैसे उन्होंने कहा कि यूज्ड फॉर, एक तो एडिक्शन हैज इट्स ओन कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस, यू नो, लाइक एंजाइटी, लोनलीनेस, इजंट इट, राइट, लो सेल्फ एस्टीम, यस दैट ऑल्सो, साइकोलॉजी ऑप्शनल है आपका, नहीं, ओके, लो सेल्फ एस्टीम, राइट, एंड अदर like social media being used for creating hyper reality, isn't it? Or social media creates hyper reality, isn't it? Hyper reality has many consequences like over consumption, conspicuous consumption, wasteful consumption of the resources, isn't it? Advertisement and all leads to wasteful consumption of the resources, as well as it also has potential to spread hatred, propaganda, spreading propaganda, hatred, isn't it? You can give example of Muzaffarnagar rioting, that rioting, you know, like started because of, you know, misuse of social media through which, you know, hyper reality was created, right? Fake news also, right, that also, fake news, rumors, right, spread through social media, like leads to hatred, mob lynching का cases also very much, you know, related with misuse of, you know, technology, ठीक है. Then you can refer to weapons of mass destruction, nuclear weapons, right, जैसे you can give examples also, Nagasaki, Hiroshima, right, and also this is used for, you know, like bargaining actually, this nuclear weapons and all, right, used for creating fear, psychosis and bargaining, right, by the powerful nations, right, ठीक है. साइबर अटैक्स, साइबर बुलिंग एक्सेट्रा, जैसे अभी ब्लू व्हेल गेम वगैरह भी आप रेफर कर सकते हैं, ठीक है. Yes, challenge to data security, right?
So surveillance state in China.
Surveillance state in China, in India too. Surveillance state in Jammu and Kashmir, but we will not write. Right. Surveillance. जैसे सर्विलेंस में अच्छा पॉइंट है लिखने के लिए, और लिखेंगे भी, बिकॉज दीज आर वेरी मच इन इंटेलेक्चुअल डिस्कशन, ठीक है ना, कि सोसाइटीज आर बिकमिंग मोर एंड मोर सर्विलेंस सोसाइटी, राइट, वायलेटिंग कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल राइट टू प्राइवेसी, राइट, राइट टू प्राइवेसी है ना, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में प्रोवाइड करता है राइट टू प्राइवेसी, बट सोसाइटीज आर बिकमिंग मोर एंड मोर सर्विलेंस सोसाइटी. दिल्ली में ही आपको ऐसा लगता होगा कि आप कहीं पे रोड पे चल रहे हैं तो आप एकदम अपना प्राइवेट लाइफ एंजॉय कर रहे हैं, पता चलेगा कहीं से कोई कैमरा आपको देख रहा है, ठीक है ना. So there is lack of private space, and if there is lack of private space, certainly that, you know, compromises with the privacy of the people, right, of the public, of the citizens, ठीक है ना. जैसे श्रीनगर आप जाएं, आपको लगेगा कि अच्छा यहाँ पे कोई नहीं देख रहा है, तो या तो कोई आर्म फोर्स आपको देख रहा होगा, कोई आर्मी पर्सनल देख रहे होंगे, BSF वाले देख रहे होंगे, या फिर कोई कैमरा देख रहा होगा, राइट. So that state is so that state has become, you know, surveillance state, completely surveillance state, under surveillance of armed forces, right, police personnel, right. Okay. Other क्या, good point, surveillance वाला लिखेंगे, yes.
Sex selection techniques.
Like declining sex ratio because of sex selective abortions, ठीक है, ultrasounds and all, right, declining sex ratio.
Associated with artificial intelligence, cloning and gene editing.
That also you will write, ठीक है, AI, cloning, gene editing, etc. That is also dangerous master, aspect of dangerous master, right. Climate change, unsustainable development, unsustainable exploitation of, you know, resources, and result is increasing intensity of floods, droughts, right. E-waste also, that also, e-waste, that is also dangerous servant का aspect, that also will write, right. GM crops destroying local biodiversity, आपने उधर लिखा servant because this facilitates for facilitated India becoming, you know, net exporter of cotton, but GM cropping is also destroying the local crop diversity, isn't it, right. It has, you know, consequences for soil fertility, isn't it, right, as well as other health consequences, ठीक है. So that also you will write.
So fertilizers. Fertilizers are also being.
Yes, उसमें लिखेंगे ना, like ओवर यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ फर्टिलाइजर, लैंड डिग्रेडेशन, isn't it, right. जैसे अभी पूरा पंजाब के अंदर जो एक थ्रेटनिंग सिचुएशन इमर्ज हुआ है, that is, you know, कैंसर, इंक्रीजिंग, you know, नंबर ऑफ केसेस कैंसर, राइट. एक पूरा कैंसर एक्सप्रेस चलता है फ्रॉम बटिंडा टू उधर अहमदाबाद, जोधपुर कैंसर हॉस्पिटल, राइट, बिकॉज ऑफ, यू नो, salinization, inhaling the saline soil, isn't it? Lung cancer ka case is increasing, right?
So militarization
So-
of space.
That also you can write, militarization of space, space technology, services, provided services, but at the same time militarization of space, right? Technology becoming dangerous master, right? Okay, okay. और क्या लिख सकते हैं आजकल ये डिजाइनर बेबीज का लाइक सो दैट ऑल्सो थ्रेटन्स टू genetic diversity, that threatens to genetic diversity, isn't it? May threat to genetic diversity, that also will write. Okay, so these are in this line, you think more dysfunctional consequences of technology, dysfunctional consequences of technology, right? Yes, tell me some.
Is this essay like is it same as technology colon pros and cons? We discussed much on the lines of technology.
Yes, pros and cons. Yes, how this is like simple a statement. Technology is useful servant. So what are the benefits? Isn't it? How this serves the purpose, and it's dangerous master, right? How it like affects us, right? How this has acquired position of a master who exploits the people, isn't it? Right? Getting your point. Just say ultrasound machines, dangerous master, leading to, because this has led to decline in sex ratio. Getting your point. And decline in sex ratio has major consequences for the society. Trafficking, right? Enslavement, right? Those are the consequences of decline in sex ratio.
So in exam when we take up one thesis statement in a pair, then we talk about the pros and the cons in the same
No,
pair.
better write pros first and then cons.
Then it would be two separate essays, one technology.
Not separate essay, right? But it would be like at times, like that becomes very monotonous, pros, cons, right? I mean, side by side you are writing, okay? Most of the students will be writing in this way. First pros, then cons, positives, negatives. But I will suggest you to first describe all positives, right? And then negatives. You can count some novel point also while counting negatives. You can write some new dimension also, right? Which you have missed in positive part, right? Yes.
Sir, can we quote examples where technology is actually useful in present time, posing too much danger to human life, but in future they pose danger? For example, robots, they are actually assisting humans, but robots with AI is actually threatening to the human life in future. May threaten human life.
May threaten human life in future. Yes, such also this such like perspective also you can write. लिख सकते हैं.
It should be in the beginning or towards the end?
Towards the end, right? Towards the end.
The technology.
एक that also.
Then, I pursued a different in this. I took technology in different dimensions. जैसे कि मतलब ancient times where it was fire and invention. Then in medieval times it got into steam engine,
Yes.
mills and all industrialization.
Yes.
Then in modern dimension we can say the internet communication, the infrastructure, space, weapons and everything. So in every dimension we can say how these acted as
On time scale, right?
Not exactly. It covers the how I cover all the topics will be on a time scale basis only.
Okay.
मैंने बताया, the sequence will be on a chronological basis only. Then when I discuss a particular technology, I will say how this technology is a servant and how it's
a master.
It's a master. And then a concluding paragraph or two paragraphs or so, I will say it is the technology itself is a neutral, but how we use it depends on.
It will be difficult to manage in 1,000 words then. So better write one concluding paragraph at the end, okay, this is the use, right, of technology by humans, which makes it a servant or a master. That will be concluding remark actually, right? It is better to, like in continuity, maintain continuity, ki how this is servant. If you are describing all the aspects of, servant, positives, then you are maintaining continuity, isn't it? Right, reader will, it will be easy for reader to comprehend. Getting your point? And then how this is a monster, right? How this is a master, how this is a monster, that in continuity. ठीक है ना? So that Conclusion में कि this is human usage which make it a servant or a master. Technology itself is neutral. Yes.
We can also add impact our ethical behavior. Like for example, if our friends relative die, and instead of going to their home and condolence, but we can send only a message, flowers with rest in peace, like that. It impacts our ethical behavior.
Yes. Like this also impacts, like you can say like relationship, social relationships. ठीक है ना, टेक्नोलॉजी इन्फ्लुएंसिंग सोशल रिलेशनशिप, ठीक है ना, और उसका पॉजिटिव्स भी है, नेगेटिव्स भी है, ठीक है. लाइक दिस हैज फैसिलिटेटेड कनेक्टिंग टू योर डिस्टेंट रिलेटिव्स, राइट. यू कैन नॉट फ्रीक्वेंटली विजिट योर रिलेटिव्स इन मॉडर्न सोसाइटी, मॉडर्न कैपिटलिस्ट सोसाइटी, राइट, वेयर यू आर इन स्पेशलाइज्ड पोजीशन. आप स्पेशलाइज्ड पोजीशन पे काम कर रहे हैं, ठीक है. योर डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट, यू कैन नॉट फ्रीक्वेंटली लीव योर डिस्ट्रिक्ट, यू कैन नॉट विजिट योर relatives. So their technology facilitate you to be connected with the distant relatives, isn't it? Right.
So like whenever there are two statements, single essay statement, like yesterday you give an assignment, live as if you die tomorrow, learn as if you die. So the first 500 words or the first 400 I talk about the first part.
Yes.
And the next 400 talk about
learn forever. Yes.
So need not bring both the ideas in one.
You can write together also, but that is the approach of majority.
But it is also very difficult to bring both ideas at the same time.
Yes. So better to write, separately.
Can it is two separate essays?
No, not two separate essays. No, this is not two separate. You will write, analysis in the conclusion or pre-conclusive, analysis part, isn't it? You will relate. You should not bother that this is two essays. No, that has been demanded by the topic actually. Right, 2 dimensions are there. ठीक है ना? There may be multiple, there may be 3 dimensions. There may be essay like casteism, communalism and regionalism, hampering India's development. Right? Hampering India's development. Such essay was asked by UPSC. Right? ये essay इस बार भी पूछा जा सकता है. Right? Because casteism, communalism and regionalism are at its peak. राइट. पॉपुलर कंसेप्शन इज एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत, ठीक है ना, बट विद इन दिस एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत कास्टिज्म हैज आल्सो इंक्रीज्ड, राइट, रीजनलिज्म आल्सो इंक्रीजिंग. फॉर्म, नेचर एंड फॉर्म हैड चेंज्ड. अर्लियर castes were there competing for the politics, now caste equations are competing for the politics. Jats and non-Jats are competing, Marathas, non-Marathas are competing, Yadavs, non-Yadavs are competing, right? So that caste ka equation is there, and this equation has become very equation is very much visible, isn't it? अब ये 3 dimension इसमें है. Regionalism also has increased because now like a special status का demand, ममता बनर्जी का demand, बिहार का special category demand, isn't it? Right, that is also there, ठीक है. And regionalism in Andhra Pradesh, in Odisha, the regional political parties, won with thumping majority. This also reflects, कि people's, regional outlook and regional orientation in due course of time has strengthened. It has not declined under the rule of a single political party, isn't it? Majority rule, it decline नहीं हुआ है. Regionalism, that sense consciousness continues, isn't it? So ऐसा topic आ सकता है अगर communalism, casteism, communalism and regionalism affecting India's economic development or development. तो इसमें तो आपको 3 dimension लिखना होगा ना, separate you will write ना, right? Okay. So this is ठीक है. Next topic I will say, I will discuss this topic which I have referred: regionalism, communalism and casteism, or casteism, communalism, regionalism affecting India's development. Right. So first I will discuss, I will give you some conceptual clarity. Right. Please note down communalism. Communalism refers to tendency of the socio-religious group Communalism refers to the tendency of socio-religious groups of a sectarian exploitation of social traditions as a medium of political mobilization, to promote the political, social, economic interests, social, political, economic interests of one community even at the cost of or at the expense of or antagonistic to other community. In doing so, socio-religious communities consider other communities, a particular socio-religious community consider other socio-religious communities as their opponents or enemies, right? Communalism in this context has two dimensions, or in this context mainly explained in two ways. First, as an ideology, second, as a phenomena. First as an ideology, second as a phenomena. As ideology, it means that people who follow a particular religion, as an ideology, it means people who follow a particular religion have common social, political, economic interest. Therefore, one should have primary social political allegiance. People who follow a particular religion have common socio-political economic interest, and therefore one should have primary allegiance, primary social political allegiance to one's community, to one's religious group, to one's community, to one's religious group. This is the concept, and ये तो ideology हो गया. As a phenomena, this results into separation. This is explained in context of separation between communities, hatred between communities, right? Hatred between communities, distance between communities, communal tensions, communal conflict as a social phenomena. As I told you कि जब आप डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं ना कॉन्सेप्ट को, वो समझना इसलिए ज़रूरी है कॉन्सेप्ट्स को, द कॉन्सेप्ट एज वेल एज इट्स हिस्टोरिसिटी, इट्स बैकग्राउंड, राइट? Those who fail to understand the concept, they relate communalism to ancient India, they relate communalism to medieval India, right? No, communalism is a modern phenomena. right? Communalism earlier, right, considered as a term of positive connotation, isn't it? Positive connotation. The people with sense of belongingness. और जब sense of belongingness होगा तो क्या होगा? People are, you know, oriented to protect each other, isn't it? Sense of belongingness, right? In its modern usage, this has acquired a negative connotation. In its modern usage, it has acquired. For example, in Indian society during British period, the communalism acquired a negative connotation, isn't it? And this negative connotation because of British, you know, policy of divide and rule. Gulf was created between the communities, isn't it? And different communities, you know, in course of competition, resource competition, isn't it? Right. Mobilize, like community mobilization started, you know, right? और उसमें जो मैंने concept में बोला कि this has a tendency of socio-religious growth in course of, you know, resource crunch, poverty, pauperization, right, exploitation. This is a tendency of socio-religious groups of a sectarian exploitation of social traditions, culture, isn't it? Socio-religious groups, socio-religious leaders of sectarian exploitation of social traditions as a medium of political mobilization, as a medium of political mobilization to promote the political, social, economic interest of the socio-religious group, right? So this was during British period that socio-religious group, the leaders belonging to socio-religious group mobilized the community, isn't it, to promote, you know, political, socio-political interests, isn't it, right? And there, you know, from there started communal tensions and communal conflict during British period. ठीक है ना? As ideology, देखिए, as ideology this refers to the fact that कि people who follow particular religion have common social, political, economic interest. There may not be common social, political, economic interest. There may not be. जैसे एक community है Hindu, isn't it? As ideology, it is now being, you know, glorified कि Hindus have, you know, common interest construction of Ram temple, right? कि common interest है construction, social interest है construction of Ram temple. ऐसा दिखाया जा रहा है ना, right? There is common interest. जैसे as ideology it is believed कि the people belonging to particular socio-religious community have common economic interest, right? Common political interest. लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है. There are inequalities, isn't it? Economic interest, like food habits, lifestyle. If we talk of Muslim community, तो Muslims in Kerala and Muslims in UP, right? There is clear, you know, difference between the Muslims of Kerala and Muslims of UP in their food habits, in their lifestyle, in their educational orientation, in their economic orientation. There are clear difference, isn't it? Getting your point. But the communalists glorify communality, right? To camouflage they camouflage the differences, isn't it? Right? They believe that socio-religious community have common interest. Commonalities are there, isn't it? In reality क्या है? In reality there are differences है. Getting your point, right? So concept के level पे आप इसको समझिएगा कि communalism, what is communalism, right? जहाँ भी communalism लिखें GS में या इसमें, तो you will start कि in the beginning it was a term of positive connotation. In course of time it has, in modern society it has acquired negative connotations, isn't it? British period onward we will talk. ठीक है ना? Okay. Concept of regionalism. How do you define regionalism? पहले समझ लीजिए, फिर I will discuss, you know, इस essay का body I will discuss. What is the root word of regionalism? Region. How do you define region? Region को कैसे define करते हैं? बस political and geographical area. If Marathis would have considered Maharashtra only as political and geographical area, they would not have been mobilized actually, right? For the concerns of Marathis, isn't it? They're concerned that their jobs are being taken away by the outsiders, isn't it? Right? तो उससे beyond कुछ होता है, right? लिखिएगा, territory refers to territory और a region, sorry, यहाँ पे region define करना, a region refers to a territory the inhabitants of which, a region refers to a territory the inhabitants of which have an emotional attachment to it, maybe because of commonality of religion, commonality of religion, right, language, maybe because of commonality of religion, language, socio-economic, political stages of development, socio-economic political stage of development, comma, customs and traditions, common way of living, etc. Any one or more of these widely, and above all, any one or more of these, comma, and above all, widely prevalent sentiment of togetherness, which strengthens the bond among the residents of that region, which strengthens the bond among the residents. Such territory can coincide with the boundaries of a state, parts of a state, or even more than one state. Such territory may coincide with boundaries of a state, parts of a state, or even more than one state. Right? Regionalism now comes in on the third. Regionalism is the expression of common sense of identity and purpose, combined with the orientation to create, separate institutions, organization that express particular identity and shape collective action within a region. Right. Look, region is a territory, right? Territory, the inhabitants of which have emotional attachment to the territory on the basis of certain commonalities, sense of togetherness, belongingness and togetherness. Commonalities may be on the basis of language, custom, traditions. That is the region actually, right? The region may coincide with a state, parts in the state, or two or more states, right? Then comes regionalism. Regionalism is expression of common sense and identity. Right? Common sense and identity, expression of common sense and identity of the people belonging to Telangana region, isn't it? Belonging to Telangana region, and purpose, identity and purpose combined with creation. क्या लिखा है आपने? Combined with combined with orientation to create separate institutions and organization. उसके बाद that express particular identity shape collective action within the region. Creation of separate state Telangana, separate institutions for the people of Telangana, organization for the people of Telangana, isn't it? Right, that is regionalism. That is regionalism, right? Identity and purpose, isn't it? Separate identity and purpose. Tamils, isn't it? Tamilians, separate identity and purpose. Marathis, separate identity and purpose. Bengalis, isn't it? Right, कि बंगाल में रहना है तो everyone, all Bengali, those who want to live in Bengal, they must speak Bengali, isn't it? Right, see what, like that is shaping up of identity action, isn't it? कि all who live in Bengal, they have to speak Bengali. Those who will not, they will be ousted from Bengal, isn't it? Right, so that is regionalism is expression of common sense of identity and purpose, isn't it? Creation, कुछ keywords याद रखिएगा इसमें. Creation of, to create own institutions, organization, isn't it? For what? For expression of a particular identity. For expression of a particular identity. Bengali identity, isn't it? Bengali identity, Marathi identity, Tamil identity, isn't it? This is referred as regionalism. This is how we define regionalism, right? Okay, tomorrow I will continue with the concept of caste and then I will discuss this topic. इस topic को discuss करेंगे, ठीक है ना? The topic क्या है हमारा? Casteism, communalism and regionalism. Yes, or detrimental to India's development, hampering India's development, कुछ भी हो सकता है topic, right? Okay, कल के लिए assignment, please write one assignment. The first topic, there are everyone's need but not for everyone's. There is enough for everyone's need but not for everyone's greed. This topic पे either of any you can write, either of any you write, ठीक है? Yeah, earth has enough to satisfy human needs but not the greed. Earth has enough to satisfy human needs but not the greed, ठीक है? Okay, see you.